I was his sister. You see, he could get away with it because he was only 17 when my mom had me and left me at his doorstep. One fine day, when my grandma opened the door, she found me sleeping peacefully in a crib.
Ah, there's a baby at the door. What are you going on about? Good God, there's a baby at the door.
They found a note on me that read, "I'm going to college. Take your baby, you moron. P.S. It's called Rose." Immediately, Grandma started yelling at Grandpa.
You cheater. I loved you, and you cheated on me with a college girl? What? No, it's not mine. Look, there's a picture here. It's Jason's?
Well, long story short, as soon as Dad saw me, he hid under his bed and started to cry.
I'm too young. I'm just 17. What about my college?
But my grandpa wasn't having it.
If you're old enough to have kids, you're old enough to raise them. I'm not feeding another mouth.
Then he kicked Dad and me out. Dad decided to keep me, but he mostly seemed to find me annoying. Growing up, I was always nervous around him, so much so that I started to stutter whenever he was around. But then Dad found out that there was one major benefit of keeping me around. Once when I was 4, Dad threw a party and invited all his friends. When he told me to go to bed, I said, "If you let me stay up, I'll give chips to everyone. I'll even to throw things in the wash. I promise, Daddy."
Fine. Just stay out of my face.
But just then, a group of girls saw me and crowded around my dad. "Oh my God, she's so adorable. Is she your sister?" That's when Dad realized I was what they call a babe magnet. All these girls were paying attention to him because of me. Of course not. But Dad picked me up and pinched my cheeks.
Keep your mouth shut and you'll get a whole tub of ice cream for dinner.
Sold. After that, I followed him around the whole evening, telling every girl I saw, "I'm his sister. I'm his sister." I was such a success. Dad said I could have ice cream the whole week. From then on, I spent the whole day playing with Mila, my neighbor, and in the evenings, I was at Dad's game night or movie night. A few months later, Mila told me she was starting school. I told Dad I wanted to go too.
Why do you want to go to school? By the time you finish, the only thing you'll have is a baby, and we don't need any more of those.
No, Daddy, I'll study.
Don't be a smarty pants. I need you to come to the park with me today. I want a girlfriend.
No.
Listen, Mila, you should help your dad. I'm telling you this, and don't forget it. If you're not on my side, then you're the enemy. Nothing in between.
But I want to go to school.
I said forget it.
The next morning, I secretly tagged along with Mila to her school. As soon as we entered the class, the prettiest woman came to me and said, "Hello there, sweetie. Are you new?" "Yes, I'm Rose." She looked confused and said my name wasn't in her register.
"Where's your mom? I can't let you just sit in class like that."
"I don't have a mommy. I'm scared."
"Oh, you poor thing. Where do you live?"
I took her home, and when Dad saw Miss Maud, his jaw dropped. He invited her inside and was drooling so bad over her, he agreed to enroll me in school immediately. I was really happy at school, till one day in 6th grade, Mila came over carrying a huge pile of stuff I'd given her over the years, and she looked furious. "I'm here to tell you that our friendship is over." "What? Why?" "Because your dad is a creep. My mom told me he tried to flirt with her, also with my sister, and also with our babysitter, and also Mom's boss when she was over for dinner." "Come on now, don't go." "Why?" "Because I love you." "Don't love me then." With that, she dumped everything on me and left. After that, she simply wouldn't talk to me and told everyone in school that my dad was a weirdo, and so was I. I was so distressed, my stutter actually got worse. The only good thing in my life was that Miss Maud and the other teachers thought that I was really smart. One day, my teacher asked me what I thought about the poem we were reading. "It's okay, but I prefer Shakespeare."
What would you know about actual Shakespeare? She's a really big show-off. Always has been.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. My teacher gaped at me in shock and took me to Miss Maud's office, who was now the vice principal. She was delighted to hear my recital, and then she called up my dad to praise me.
"Wait, I can't hear a word. I'll come to the school."
Any excuse to see Miss Maud.
I knew she was a genius, just like her dad. I always encourage reading in our home because, like Shakespeare said, the more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go.
I burst into giggles. Don't be silly, Dad. Dr. Seuss said that. Dad turned red as Miss Maud held back a laugh. Yes, she is smart. Dad was fuming all the way in the car. The minute we got home, he snatched the book from me and started yelling.
I don't see why you have to act so freaking smart, stupid. No one likes smart girls, especially when they're ugly like you. I don't know why my daughter couldn't be sweet and pretty, like Hinata Hyuga.
You're just jealous because you need to be as smart as me to date Miss Maud. I'd clearly crossed a line. I had to do some serious damage control. Pronto. If you stop bugging me, I'll set you on a date with Miss Maud.
What?
Yeah, she's also totally not married. I bet with my help, she'll like you too.
Okay, but this better work.
The next day we started Project Miss Maud. I helped Dad write the cutest notes and emails to her. Finally, she agreed to go on a date with him. They were meeting at the park, so I hid in the bushes to keep an eye on Dad. Things were going fine enough until Dad did the stupidest boy thing in the world. He stood up and said,
"It's amazing being amazing."
And then he tried to kiss her. Miss Maud clearly wasn't ready for it. She smacked him across the face and marched off. This was going to be such a disaster. Sure enough, as Dad got home, he started yelling at me.
No more school for you. If I didn't get to complete mine because of you, you don't get to go either.
Oh yeah? You wanted to take me out of school? Guess you'll have to go through Miss Maud to do that, and she won't like it.
I don't care what that woman thinks.
Even though he never mentioned pulling me out of school again, we barely spoke to each other for the next few months. He just kept moping around the house miserably watching anime. When I finally started high school, things started looking up for me, because on my very first day, I found myself being wooed at the end of literature class. A shy-looking boy named Ethan slipped a note to me.
Dear Rose, every time you're close, red goes my ears and face and nose. I wish the world froze. I'm trying to ask you out, I suppose.
I wrote a small yes in a heart and returned it to him. He grinned, and just like that, I had a boyfriend on my first day of high school. But there was one person who could never stand to see me happy, Mila. She'd never even noticed Ethan before, probably, but as soon as he and I started going out, I'd always see her trying to flirt with him any chance she got. One day when Ethan and I were sitting in the cafeteria, she just plopped onto his lap. Oh, sweetie, are you sure about this dummy? Wouldn't you rather date me? I'm so much more perfect. With that, she suddenly turned and kissed Ethan. Back off, Mila. He's my boyfriend. Immediately, he pushed her off, looking super red.
Yeah, Mila, get off me.
Mila laughed brightly. Well, whenever you're ready to date someone who doesn't sound like an idiot, let me know. Mila, everyone has their own insecurities. We're teens, remember? Oh, who is there? Who is talking now? Dr. Phil? Are you there? Come on, Mila. Don't use my stutter against me. I know a lot of things to use against you. We used to be best friends. Used, and that's a past tense. And it stays in the past. Goodbye for now. When is this going to end? Oh, it hasn't even started. With that, she literally skipped away, that crazy witch. As if Mila trying to ruin my life in school wasn't bad enough, Dad was giving her serious competition at home. Over the years, he had a string of girlfriends who would stay with us for a while before he dumped them. I was just so tired of finding some new bimbo at our place every few weeks. I even caught one of them stealing all our stuff before Dad threw her out. A few months later, Ethan offered to walk me back home one day. As we walked up to the house hand in hand, I saw Dad standing in the doorway. He saw us and looked like he was having a stroke.
Rose, get away from him right now.
Why, Dad? What's wrong? He marched to us and pulled me away from Ethan.
I don't send you to school so you can become pregnant one day.
Are you crazy, Dad? Ethan and I haven't even kissed yet.
Yet? You are never to kiss a boy, even hold his hand until you get married. Do you hear me? Or else I'm really pulling you out of school. You, stay away from her, idiot.
That's it, Dad. You're officially crazy. I'm done with you. I'm leaving. I marched straight up to my room and packed my bags. By the end of the day, I was at Miss Maud's place. I wish your dad would stop being so immature. You can stay here as long as you like and just focus on your college admissions. Yeah, I'll finally have some peace. But of course, I'd spoken too soon. After that day, I'd noticed that Ethan was mostly ignoring me at school and always had an excuse for not hanging out later either. I called him up one day to ask if I could come over.
"Oh, babe, I really don't feel well. Coming down with the flu, probably. I'll see you when I'm better."
Before I could say another word, he hung up on me. He'd been acting so weird, and I had a nagging feeling that something wasn't right. Later that night, when I was at the mall, I got my answer. There he was, Ethan, and he was kissing Mila. I was furious. I marched up to him. "So this is your disease, huh?" Ethan looked shocked to see me, but Mila just grinned at me and said, no, I'm the cure, sweetie." I glanced at Ethan, expecting him to look ashamed, but he just shrugged.
"Everything Mila has ever said about your dad is right, and I don't want to deal with all your drama. Plus, your stutter gets really annoying sometimes."
All my anger bubbled up to the surface and I smacked his face before I stormed off. Days later, I was still furious about the whole thing, but I had bigger things to worry about. I was anxiously waiting for an acceptance letter from my dream college, but the next day I got an email from them and I was shocked. I was so sure I'd get in, but the email said I was rejected for violent behavior towards my peers, and attached was a video of me slapping Ethan. I marched straight to his house and banged on his door. He came out grinning. "Why did you do this?"
"Oh, I thought you were here to apologize for slapping me. Fine, I forgive you. Give me a hug?"
"Jerk, I'm going to tell Vice Principal Maud what you've done." For a minute, we stood in shock. I'd never yelled at him before, and suddenly my stutter was gone too. All I needed was a shock to my system. But I had to deal with him now.
"Your stutter's gone? That's amazing. I'll take you back now. Mila's too high maintenance anyway."
"Back off, you trash bag. I never want to see you again, and you're going to pay for this." And pay for it he did. While I started college at another place, Miss Maud suspended him for a month, which meant he couldn't get into the university of his choice also. One day the doorbell rang and I opened it to find Dad. He pushed an envelope into my hands and burst into tears.
"Rose, I know I've been terrible, but I'm really trying to change, okay? I found out from Maud what Ethan did, and we both went to your dream college and talked to the admissions professor there to clear everything up. You can transfer to that place now."
I couldn't believe what he'd done. Did he just act like a parent?
"Please, forgive me. I've been foolish and selfish and lost the people I love the most, but you're the only family I have."
My heart went out to him and I found myself hugging him. "I forgive you, Dad, and maybe if you keep your act together, you'll be able to win back Miss Maud too." Just then, Miss Maud walked in behind him, smiling. "After what he did for you, I decided to give him another chance." I couldn't be happier for both of them. Here we are a few months later, and I'm at my dream college now, and started dating an amazing guy who treated me like a princess. I could not be happier.